Actually, I do not turn my birthday until 5 after 1 p.m. this afternoon. I decided at my age you need to do it by the minute. Oh, well, that's a problem. Sorry about this, but my notebook doesn't fit in the podium up here. Let me pull these things out. There we go. So yes, the title Chief Skunk was in fact real, and all the VP, GM stuff in the business card was not nearly as entertaining as the title of Chief Skunk. But anyway, we, as John and Gordon both said, we are extremely proud of the new members that we're inducting today. We're also very proud of many of our members that have had long service to the national academies and hence the nation. At the back of your induction book, you will find the name of individuals who are celebrating a significant membership anniversary. I'm going to read them to you, and when I read your name, if you're an anniversary member, please stand and wave to the audience and then remain standing. I'd like to have the audience hold your applause until they're all standing, and then we congratulate them all at once. This is like the preseason, because we're going to ask you to do the same thing during the actual induction ceremony, so hold your applause until we get to the very end. Celebrating 35 years, Anil Chopra. Celebrating 30 years, Lynn Conway, Russell Dupuy, Uzad Idris, Daniel Peter Laux, Ronald Nordgren, and Jerry Woodall. And celebrating 25 years, David Bogie, Alec Bors, Don Chafin, Anita Jones, John Kasakian, Lal Schwartz, and Robin Serafin. Thank you, and congratulations to all of you anniversary members. As John and Gordon both said, this is really a terrific occasion. We are here to celebrate and acknowledge excellence in engineering. We are celebrating the marvelous contributions that the engineers in this year's class have made in research, innovation, manufacturing, education, the creation of novel technologies, and in designing solutions to real-world problems. I think you know how competitive this process is. John alluded to that. From personal experience, prior to assuming this job, I was the chair of the committee in membership. And in fact, John followed me by, I think, 2 years, and so he also has that kind of direct experience. And so you know how talented these classes really are. And once again, as the executive officer, I have an opportunity to review the details of each member elected to the class. Many of you will have the opportunity to serve on a peer committee at some point in the future, which is the first step in the process of the election. And the comment that virtually every member of one of those peer committees comes away with, how the heck did I ever get elected? You will be impressed by the talent of the people coming into this academy. You might have been reading the citations in the induction booklet, and you might recognize some of this is almost sounding like a science fiction movie, but I promise you it is not. We didn't make this stuff up. Arthur Clarke, a former member of the NAE and now deceased, and author of 2001: A Space Odyssey, said that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Now, this would be a time to comment on today's program. For those of us who grew up and matured or began our careers in the days of Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo, remember that was concurrent with things like the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey and Star Trek, with Captain Kirk. And so, in fact, there is a certain merging of science and science fiction, but what you're seeing today is all real. Engineering is a marvelously creative enterprise, and the citations reflect that creativity. It improves the human condition, as you've heard earlier today, and that is the message we're constantly trying to convey to the public, young and old. When you come up onto the stage, new members, one of the things you'll receive is one of these blue rosettes. They have been given to newly elected NAE members and foreign members since the late 1960s. And I thought I would share with you a bit of the history of the NAE Blue Rosette. John cited a history going back to the National Academy of Sciences in 1863 as an organization meant to recognize the talents of the nation's premier scientists, engineers, and physicians. An identifying emblem had to be created, and this was copied from the French, and the story is as follows. The rosette is based upon the design of the French Legion of Honor medal, established to honor military service. It is appropriate for us to use that model given the fact that roots of engineering in the U.S. can be traced back to the influence of French military engineers in the late 18th century. Interestingly enough, the first engineering school in that context in the U.S. was the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. If you want to know more history, one of your new members has spent a lot of time at West Point, Barry Shube. You can ask him for the details. The Rosette has grown over time to be emblematic of membership of any select group. What I'm going to do is read the name, the affiliation, the election citation, first for the new members and then for the foreign members. You will come up to the stage to receive your Rosette and diploma. Go up, stand with John and Gordon, have your photograph taken, and when that's done, you'll go over to the table where Julie Phillips is and sign the membership rolls. When we get to the foreign set of members, Jim Tien will replace Julie and will continue the signature process for those foreign members. Our staff will make sure that you line up in alphabetical order on that side of the stage, and then when your name is called, proceed up to the stage and receive the certificate and sign the book as I just instructed you. We know, of course, that there are a few members who are not here, will not, of course, be inducted. There may be some people in the audience as well that were elected and inducted in the previous year but could not attend the ceremony and sign the book. So if you're a member and you've never signed the induction book, please come up and see Jim or Julie at the end of the ceremony and get your signature in there. So at the proper time, I will, in fact, call Jim up to the stage. Okay. During the break, we will do member and foreign member photos. If it's not raining outside, and it wasn't raining when we came in, I'll ask the class of 2019 and the anniversary members to proceed out of the Great Hall, out of the glass doors, and onto the front of the building. We'll stage you on the steps for the photographs. If it happens to start raining, we'll make alternate arrangements in the west court of the Great Hall. I'll ask everyone else to stay present in the auditorium in your seats until we can get those individuals out and have them for their photographs taken. So, let us begin with the process. First, Dereji Aganafor, Presidential Distinguished Professor, the University of Texas, for contributions to computer-aided electrothermomechanical design and the modeling of electronic equipment. Krishan K. Owaja, Regents Research and Regents Professor, Aerospace, Transportation, and Advanced Systems Lab, Georgia Tech Research Institute, Georgia Institute of Technology, for the development of quieter aero systems and contributions to aeroacoustics research, literature, and education. Joanna Eisenberg, Amy Smith Barrelson, Professor of Materials Science and Professor of Chemistry and Chemical Biology, Harvard University, for contributions to understanding of biological systems and bio-inspired materials design. Eric K. Antonsen, founder and CTO, Systemix Incorporated, for leadership in the development of aerospace defense systems, formal methods of engineering design, and active learning and engineering education. Penina Axelrod, Professor, Ann and H.J. Smead Aerospace Engineering Sciences, University of Colorado, Boulder, for analysis of multipath GPS signals to improve satellite navigation and new approaches to remote sensing. Mary Baker, President, Technical Director, ATA Engineering Incorporated, for computer simulation methods for structural mechanics problems and engineering leadership. Wayne S. Balta, Vice President, Corporate Environmental Affairs and Product Safety, IBM Corporation, for advancing corporate environmental sustainability practices worldwide. Gilda A. Barabino, Dean and Daniel and Francis Berg Professor, Grove School of Engineering, the City College of New York, for leadership in bioengineering research and inclusive models of bioengineering education and faculty mentoring. Rodolfo O. Barangu, Todd R. Kellenhammer, Distinguished Professor in Probiotics Research, North Carolina State University, for discovery of CRISPR-Cas genome editing and engineering microbes, plants, and animals for food and other applications. Anna P. Barros, Edmund T. Pratt Jr. School Professor of Civil and Environmental Engineering, Duke University, for contributions to understanding and prediction of precipitation dynamics and flood hazards in mountainous terrains. David J. Bishop, Director, CellMet Engineering Research Center, Head Materials Science and Engineering, ECE, Boston University, for contributions and leadership in high-capacity optical switch technology. Pratim Biswas, Lucy and Stanley Lopta, Professor and Chair and Assistant Vice Chancellor, Department of Energy, Environmental and Chemical Engineering, Washington University, for advancing the science of aerosol dynamics and particle removal technologies. Richard D. Bratz, Edwin R. Gilliland, Professor, Chemical Engineering, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, for contributions to diagnosis and control of large-scale and molecular processes for materials, microelectronics, and pharmaceuticals manufacturing. Linda J. Broadbelt, Sarah Rebecca Rowland Professor and Associate Dean for Research and Engineering, Northwestern University, for contributions to complex kinetic modeling, particularly for understanding the pathways by which hydrocarbons and polymers undergo pyrolysis. Wei Chen, Wilson Cook Professor in Engineering Design, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Northwestern University, for contributions to design under uncertainty in products and systems and leadership in the engineering design community. Douglas S. Clark, G.N. Lewis Professor of Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering and Dean, College of Chemistry, University of California, Berkeley, for advances in biocatalyst and bioreaction engineering for drug discovery, drug screening, and bioprocessing. Harry M. Red Conger IV, President and Chief Operating Officer, America's Freeport McMoRan Incorporated, for contributions to copper mine, plant design, and leadership of Freeport to become the world's top private copper producer. Carl Dieseroth, D.H. Chen Professor of Bioengineering and of Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences, Stanford University and Howard Hughes Institute, for molecular and optical tools for discovery and control of neural signals behind animal behavior in health and disease. Hariklia Daligiani, entrepreneur and retired research chemist, International Business Machines, for electrochemical processes used by major microelectronic chip producers worldwide. Thomas J. Eccles, Chief Executive Officer, Trident Maritime Systems, LLC, for service in naval engineering and advances in submarine technology. Paul England, Distinguished Engineer, Microsoft Corporation, for defining the hardware foundations of secure computing, trusted platform module, and secure enclaves, and for conceiving the dark net. Ali Erdemir, Argonne Distinguished Fellow, Applied Materials Division, Argonne National Laboratory, for contributions to the science and technology of friction, lubrication, and wear. Robert J. Facchetti, retired Vice President, Global Powertrain Engineering, Ford Motor Company, for leadership in powertrain products with improved fuel economy, superior performance, and reduced greenhouse gas emissions. Alec D. Gallimore, Robert J. Vlasic, Dean of Engineering, Professor of Engineering, University of Michigan, for advanced spacecraft electric propulsion, especially Hall thruster technology. Sharon C. Glotzer, Anthony C. Lemke, Department Chair of Chemical Engineering, Professor, Department of Chemical Engineering, University of Michigan, for development of computer-based design principles for assembly engineering and manufacturing of advanced materials and nanotechnology. Dorota Grenier-Brazinska, Professor and Lober B. Strange Endowed Chair, Associate Dean for Research, College of Engineering, The Ohio State University. For contributions to geodetic science with satellite navigation, including integration with artificial intelligence. Joseph Y. Halpern, Joseph C. Ford Professor of Engineering, Computer Science Department, Cornell University, for methods of reasoning about knowledge, belief, and uncertainty and their applications to distributed computing and multi-agent systems. Yassine Hassan, Royce E. Weisbacher, 39, Chair in Engineering and Professor, Texas A&M University, for experimentally validated thermal hydraulic analyses of multi-phase flow fields for nuclear reactor operations. Jonathan P. Heritage, Professor Emeritus, Electrical and Computer Engineering, University of California, Davis, for contributions to optical pulse shaping and wavelength selective optical switches. Linda B. Hudson, Chairman and CEO, the Gardea Group, for leadership in development and production of military systems and for mentoring and developing future engineering leaders. Stephen E. Ingebrigtsen, Research Hydrologist, U.S. Geological Survey, for contributions to understanding the role of groundwater in geologic processes. William C. Jordan, Research Fellow, General Motors Research and Development Center, for development of analytical methods to improve manufacturing systems and for quantitative analysis of future mobility systems. Joseph Katz, William F. Ward Senior Distinguished Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Johns Hopkins University, for development of optical methods in experimental fluid mechanics for turbomachinery, cavitation, turbulence, and environmental flows. Beyrok Kashneviz, President and CEO, Contour Crafting Corporation, for innovations in manufacturing and construction, including the application of 3D printing methods. Sarah Kiesler, Program Manager, National Science Foundation, for leadership and technical innovation and identification of social trends with the adoption of computers and robots in work and society. Charles A. Kircher, Principal, Kircher Associates, for advancing structural engineering practice in earthquake engineering and loss prevention in building design. Robert D. Kiss, Vice President, Process and Analytical Development, Sutro Biopharma Incorporated, for contributions to mammalian cell culture and microbial processes that produce recombinant proteins and antibodies. Jessica A. Kogel, Associate Director of Mining, National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, for sustainable development and innovation of industrial clay products and processes. John H. Kuhn, President, John H. Kuhn and Associates, for contributions to the design of systems to treat chemically complex industrial wastewaters. Charles J. Kuhlman, Vice President of Materials Engineering and NDE, SpaceX and Tesla Motors, for contributions to the creation and commercialization of a computational materials design. Anil Kumar, Associate Fellow, Specialty Coatings and Materials, PBG Industries Incorporated, for contributions in photochromism and variable polarization and leadership in commercialization. Monica S. Lamb, Professor of Computer Science, Stanford University, for contributions to the design of advanced compiler and analysis systems for high-performance computers. Jefferson C. Levency, Senior Advisor to the CEO, Genomatica Incorporated, for leadership in biomanufacturing of sustainable chemicals. And representing Robert Lawrence, his wife Sally Lawrence, Robert was the Elmer and Janet Kaiser Chair and Consolidated Papers Professor of Control Engineering, University of Wisconsin-Madison. He was elected for contributions to modeling and control of cross-coupled electromechanical systems for high-performance electric machines and drives. And unfortunately, Robert passed away between his election and the induction ceremony today, so thank you, Sally, for participating. Catherine A. McCarthy, Vice President, R&D and Laboratory Director, Canadian Nuclear Laboratories, for leadership in research and data analysis in support of licensing extensions for light water nuclear reactors. Laura J. McGill, Vice President, Engineering, Raytheon Missile Systems, for technical leadership of missile systems for the United States and its allies. Gareth H. McKinley, Professor of Teaching Innovation, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, for contributions in rheology, understanding of complex fluid dynamical instabilities, and interfacial engineering of super-repellent textured surfaces. Mata Mogadam, William H. Hoag Professor, Electrical and Computer Engineering, University of Southern California, for development of physics-based computational algorithms for mapping of subsurface characteristics. Sasan Mokhtari, President and CEO, Open Access Technology International Incorporated, for development of software for web-based electric power transmission access, including tagging and scheduling. Robert Morris, Professor, Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence Lab, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, for contributions to programmable network routers, wireless mesh networks, and network computer systems. Mary Pat Moyer, founder, CEO, and Chief Science Officer. InCell Corporation, for entrepreneurship and development of cell lines, cell media, and testing technologies for regenerative medicine and biopharma products. Sharon L. Nunes, Vice President, Smarter Cities and Big Green Innovations, retired IBM, for corporate leadership and development of next-generation green technologies, focusing on novel materials and processes. Stephanie L. O'Sullivan, Consultant and retired Principal Deputy Director of National Intelligence, Office of the Director of National Intelligence, for Science, Technology, and Leadership in National Security. Rosalind Picard, Professor and Director of Effective Computing Media Lab, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, for contributions to effective and wearable computing. Darrell J. Pines, Dean and Norman Farvardin, Professor of Engineering, University of Maryland, for inspirational leadership and contributions to engineering education excellence in the United States. Kimberly A. Prather, Distinguished Chair in Atmospheric Chemistry, Scripps Institution of Oceanography, University of California, San Diego, for technologies that transformed understanding of aerosols and their impacts on air quality, climate, and human health. John Reed, Director, Product Technology and Innovation, Moline Technical Innovation Center, John Deere Company, for innovation in automation technologies for agricultural systems. Clifford M. Samuel, Senior Vice President, Access Operations and Emerging Markets, Gilead Sciences Incorporated, for innovations in supply chain management and manufacturing technologies central to delivering medication in developing countries. Alejandro M. San Martin, Chief Engineer, Guidance, Navigation, and Control, Jet Propulsion Laboratory, for technical contributions and leadership in guidance, navigation, and control leading to successful Mars entry, descent, and landing. Nadine B. Sarter, Professor, Industrial Operations, Engineering and Robotics, Director, Center of Ergonomics, University of Michigan, for innovation in the design and use of tactile displays for improved safety in aviation, automobiles, and healthcare. Christopher A. Hsu, Department Head and Professor, Material Science and Engineering, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, for contributions to design, science, and application of nanocrystalline metals. Robert A. Scott, Vice President, Technology Transfer, Surgical R&D, Alcon Laboratories, Incorporated, for contributions in ophthalmological biomaterials for intraocular lenses, glaucoma implants, and surgical equipment. Margot I. Seltzer, Canada 150 Research Chair and Keratin Family Chair, Computer Science, University of British Columbia, for engineering contributions to databases, file systems, and operating systems. Lee Semiotin, Senior Scientist Emeritus, Materials Processing, Processing Sciences Laboratory, Air Force Research Laboratory, for contributions to thermomechanical processing of aerospace alloys and emerging intermetallic materials. Patrick M. Shanahan, for aerospace industry leadership in commercial aircraft, missile defense, and rotorcraft for service to the Department of Defense. Barry L. Shoup, Dean Albert Nurkin School of Engineering, the Cooper Union for the Advancement of Science and Art, for leadership in developing engineering systems solutions for national security and contributions to military engineering education. Heidi Hsu, President and CEO, Heidi Hsu Incorporated, for development of innovative radar electro-optics infrared systems in support of the U.S. Army and Air Force. Wanda A. Segur, retired Vice President and General Manager, Civil Space, Lockheed Martin Corporation, for contributions to human spaceflight exploration systems. Jane M. Smith, Senior Research Scientist for Hydrodynamic Phenomena, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, for leadership in coastal engineering research and development resulting in improved infrastructure resilience. John G. Spear, John Henry Moore Distinguished Professor and Director, ASPPRC, Colorado School of Mines, for the conception, invention, and reduction to practice of quenching and partitioning steel. K. M. Staney, CEO and founder, Design Interactive Incorporated, for contributions to human factors engineering through virtual reality technology and strategic leadership. Daniel B. Stevens, Principal Hydrologist and Founder, Daniel B. Stevens and Associates Incorporated, for innovations in Vadose Zone hydrologic practice and theory. Richard D. Tabers, President, Tabers Raminis Rudvedich, for development of technologies for real-time locational pricing of electricity for reduced electric transmission congestion. Vahid Tarok, Rhodes Founder Professor of Electrical and Computer Engineering, Duke University, for contributions to space-time coding and its application to multi-antenna wireless communications. Hemant Kapoor, Chairman and CEO, Omnitir, for contributions to theory and practice of coding and signal processing for high-density magnetic recording. Gene W. Tom, Group Director and Head, Development Engineering, Chemical and Synthetic Development, Bristol-Myers Squibb Company, for leadership in the process development of multiple commercialized drugs. Claire J. Tomlin, Charles A. Desir Professor of Engineering, Electrical Engineering and Computer Science, University of California, Berkeley, for contributions to design tools for safety, focus, and control of cyber-physical systems. Susan E. Trawyer-McKinstry. Susan S. Flatchen, Professor of Ceramic Science and Engineering and Professor of Electrical Engineering, Pennsylvania State University, for development of thin-film multi-layer ceramic capacitors and piezoelectric microelectromechanical systems. Yannis Tividis, Edwin Howard Armstrong Professor of Electrical Engineering, Columbia University, for contributions to analog and mixed signal integrated circuit technology and engineering education. Eric A. Udrin, Executive Advisor, Quanta Technologies, LLC, for leadership in advancing protection technologies for electric power grids. P.P. Vaidyanathan, Kioi and Iko Tomiyasu Professor of Electrical Engineering, California Institute of Technology, for contributions to digital filter bank theory and design. Christine A. Wong, Senior Staff, Laser Technology and Applications Laboratory, MIT Lincoln Laboratory, for contributions to epitaxial crystal growth of 3,5 compound semiconductors and design of organometallic vapor phase epitaxy reactors. Margaret M. Wu, Retired Senior Scientific Advisor, ExxonMobil Research and Engineering Company, for contributions to synthetic lubricants for improved energy efficiency and machine protection. Our 2019 class of new NAE members. If I can now ask for Jim Tien to come up to the stage. Thank you, Jim, and thank you, Julie. Now the class of 2019 induction ceremony for foreign members. Esteban Brignole, Emeritus Professor, Superior Researcher, Universidad Nacional sur Concept, oh boy. For contributions to molecular design of solvents, modeling of high-pressure phase equilibria, and leadership in research and academic industry collaborations. Michael E. Cates, Lucasian Professor of Mathematics, DMTP, Center for Mathematical Sciences, University of Cambridge, for research on the rheology, dynamics, and thermodynamics of complex fluids for the scientific leadership in the European community. Art J. DeGias, Chairman and Co-CEO, Synopsys Incorporated, for leadership and technical contributions to logic synthesis for integrated circuits. Jean-Jacques Dordain, former Director General, European Space Agency, for contributions to complex space systems and leadership of space exploration programs worldwide. Samuel E. Jonah, Executive Chairman, Jonah Capital, for leadership and technical contributions advancing the mineral industry in Africa. Gilbert Laporte, Canada Research Chair in Distribution Management and Professor, Department of Decision Sciences, HEC Montreal, for domain-defining contributions to the theory and practice of vehicle routing, facility location, and distribution management. Robert Mayer, Emeritus Professor of Civil Engineering and Director of Research, University of Cambridge, for contributions to underground construction and smart infrastructure, and for leadership in government engineering practice, research, and education. May I ask what happened to the slides? Okay. Karan Mazumdar, Chairperson and Managing Director, Biocon Limited, for development of affordable biopharmaceuticals in the biotechnology industry in India. Christopher B. Murray, Richard Perry University Professor of Chemistry and Materials Science Engineering, University of Pennsylvania, for invention and development of solvothermal synthesis of monodispersed nanocrystal quantum dots for displays, photovoltaics, and memory. Jiwei Chu, Professor, Research Center for Eco-Environmental Sciences, Chinese Academy of Sciences, for development of water treatment technology and leadership in improving water quality in China. Hugh Rudenik, Emeritus Professor, Electrical Engineering, Pontificia Universidad Católica de Chile, for leadership in South American electric power markets, resources, and transmission planning and standards. Nicola Spalding, Professor for Materials Theory, ETH Zurich, for theoretical contributions to advance the field of multiferroics. Molly M. Stevens, Professor of Biomedical Materials and Regenerative Medicine, Imperial College London, for contributions to material-based approaches for tissue regeneration and biosensing. Nikolai Jeludev, Deputy Director, Zepler Institute, University of Southampton, UK, for leadership and technical contributions to optical metamaterials and nanophotonics. Congratulations to the entire class of new foreign members for 2009.